Alrighty, hello every folks, and good morning. Welcome to the Wow, this guy's an idiot episode of Tactics Ogre One Vision. Know your units. Now, here's the thing here. There's several classes, or not several classes, but several skills that I ended up making over the course of making these episodes, and I wanted to throw out a little bit of a correction thing here. So first of all, if you notice that I'm missing anything in any of these episodes, please do go ahead and call them out, because frankly, there's so many skills, core features, whatever else in every one of these units that there's gonna be stuff that falls through the cracks. A lot of times it's due to the fact that something either changed category or might have been something completely different at one point. So again, I try to remember these as best I can, but again, I can only remember so much. So, well, only can replace old crappy knowledge so much. Doing my best. Anyway, a perfect example right here would be something like Galaxy Stop, which I missed from the Oracle episode yesterday, because, as I mentioned during that episode, there was a time in which we had a Summoner class, we had an Astromancer class, and the update notes would have looked something along the lines of Astromancer removed, the Summoner was removed, then it's like Oracle was added, Galaxy Stop skill was removed, and then at some point, it, like way down in a separate category, it would have said Galaxy Stop spell added to drop table of, I think it's like some like floor 15 of Ferompa Wildwood somewhere. But anyways, this thing's been sitting in my inventory the whole time. I was waiting to get Warren. It didn't even click for some reason that the Cressida can use it too. So yeah. Way to go, brain. Anyway, yeah, this used to be a skill, now it's a spell. It's relatively quick to get a hold of, too. You get it around the same time as Cressida, so that's pretty darn nifty. Anyways, it probably would help if I actually put those spells on her, so we'll go ahead and... do I even know Draconics on her at all? Hold on. Let's see. Do I know Draconics? No, that would help. Alright, let's go ahead and stick that sucker on there. Probably replace Dark Magic here. And there we go. Technically, she can learn a couple more, but just like the Heretic, she's kind of, sort of, still somewhat dedicating that particular slot to this particular thing. It's just more convenient from a modding perspective to have it available as a spell rather than a skill. Anyway. So with that said, that's one of the ones that I completely ended up forgetting. I also ended up forgetting the Grim Dawn ability over on the Heretic, simply put because I just didn't... I wasn't able to use it as of the time that I had it. And then pretty much immediately after, I was like, wait a minute, hold on, it's been on the list the whole time, and then just never ended up using it. Ended up missing the Windshot ability over on the Varden, ended up missing the Rally ability somehow over on the Knight, as well as one of the more hidden ones that I'm not even surprised I missed, and that's the Relic ability over on the Death Knight. This is basically Night Sword from FFT, except it's styled more in the Ogre Battle / Knight of Lotus type of sense. The Relic, I believe, is from Ogre Battle. The effect being on an axe, I believe, is more kind of themed around the Knight of Lotus Dark Prison axe, I think it was. Was it Dark Prison? I think it was, or Hell's Gate or something like that. There's an axe that allows you to steal health. Anyway. So, it's like steal health, and I think it's like a chance for insta-kill on that axe or something. Anyways, again, this is basically styled in the Ogre Battle / Knight of Lotus style, and then it's functionally working more like Night Sword from FFT. And so we'll go ahead and kind of show all of these one after another to show their usefulness and whatever else. Okay. So first of all, as far as the Zombie Griffin, what's that doing here? This is actually another one that I believe I forget exactly, but I want to say I forgot to mention Zombie Griffins in the Griffin episode. But yeah, Zombie Griffins are very convenient. Another ability that I ended up completely forgetting and just totally whiffing on was going to be the Covenant ability over on the Heretic, which just allows for very easy accumulation of MP. Now, it's technically available on the Lich as well, but yeah, unlike the standard versions in the normal games, you're able to target it more specifically. So essentially what you can do is kind of just launch this thing out more or less at a group of allies. So allies or enemies or whatever else, anybody that happens to have some MP nearby and you want to go leech it up, well, it's right there for you. So for example, a few knights accompanying something like a heretic allows them to more or less function as a magic battery for them. So their cultists allow them to go and do that sort of thing, which is pretty cool. It's very thematically fitting. With the Windshot ability on the Vartan, this is more of a basically Hyper Beam kind of situation. It's very, very strong. Essentially allows them to... Here, actually, wait a minute. Hold on. Do you have more MP? You have... I don't know if this goes off percentage or what. We're just going to go Life Force, I think. Anyway, so yeah, the Windshot ability basically allows for just one big coup de grace move. Allows them to sort of finish off multiple units at once. It's kind of situational, but it's very similar to like a Sporagmos or Hurricane over on that Zombie Griffin, where it just allows them to take advantage of a particularly vulnerable moment to completely annihilate several units. Now, technically a faster setup to all of this, if you want to have your MP casters doing their big nuking thing quickly. Kashua technically wins that race in terms of overall power. Okie dokie. Got a little bit interrupted by our youngest doing cute stuff, but let's talk about nukes. So as far as the Heretic and the Oracle, both of them have sort of a similar-ish road to their 120 MP. Obviously, they have their clarities, their efficacies, whatever else. But when it comes to Kashua, you can oftentimes get up to 120 using Covenant in a sort of offensive sense. In her particular case, doing it round one like I did allows for getting two of them up at a relatively similar pace because it's just kind of sharing MP between them. Like Cressida's natural recovery is going to be a little bit better than hers as I have her set up right now. But for example, if you wait until 3 or 4 rounds, you have her surrounded by a few knights and just kind of immediately get all of her points up ready to go right then and there, you're going to usually see a sort of instant nuke availability for you. And especially if you happen to run into a group of enemy casters, you can just sort of drain them and be very, very well stocked yourself. But Grim Dawn essentially allows for draining all of your MP and then guaranteeing that Covenant will always go towards you rather than somebody else, because it's just kind of whichever pool is bigger is the one that ends up getting drained. So you want to be on the lower end there. Anyways, enough about that. So yeah, Relic is effectively going to be functioning like Nightsword, except, you know, a bit less overtly busted, but it does take a little bit of training to get there. Took a decent amount of grinding on Denim to actually get this thing in this case, because again, I wasn't even expecting it to be there. I also didn't cover Rally earlier, which is over on the Knight. At least I didn't go over it very much. But if you don't want to run a Swordmaster or something along those lines, Knight basically hard counter Terror Knights and all of their fear abilities with an AoE fear and stun clear, which also strengthens everybody nearby. It's an incredible value, so definitely worth doing there. Okay, next up is the Windshot. Now this is basically going to be a full pass-through beam. Like, let's say if we were to fly over here and we wanted to hit all 3 of these guys, we don't, but it would just kind of blow through all of them at the same time. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and use it to knock out this guy instead. I will mention that when it comes to a lot of these super moves, as it were, in order to avoid people being locked into a particular element, because that's one of those things that One Vision tries to avoid unless it's very thematically fitting. Like, for example, the Furia is all about that lightning, so yeah, they're going to prefer lightning. When it comes to somebody like the Vartan, who's got a lot of different availabilities depending on just kind of different elements you'd prefer, different debuffs you prefer, locking them into only wind would kind of be a bit of a bummer. So the Windshot is a neutral ability. Same thing for, I forget if, I believe Grim Dawn is also, here, let's, no, Grim Dawn I think does augment Dark. What does Galaxy Stop do? Okay, Galaxy Stop is also Aug Dark. So it does work out well in both those cases, but yeah, a lot of skills like this will typically be neutral to avoid locking you into a particular element unless it's thematically fitting. Well, actually, all 3, when it comes to Cressida, when it comes to Dark Kashua, and when it comes to Warren, all of them are going to be sort of on the darker end of things, so, you know, they get to be all grim and such. Yeah, that'll be enough to get her up, so we'll go ahead and do one of those. Her MP is a little bit too high to necessarily do much of anything else in that regard. I think we'll go ahead and axe this guy. Sure, decent enough. Not really a whole lot of reason for him to use Absorb MP there, but Zombie Griffin doing its usual thing here. Let's see, what do I want to do for healing or some such, because she's having a little bit of a rough time in the old healing department. Might just go for probably Obliterate, because that would render some of these guys immovable. So, you know, let's go ahead and obliterate this guy. Yeah, that is the Petrify one. Was kind of curious there for a second. Nice and petrified, there we go. Guaranteed petrification is just very good. It's one of those reasons you don't necessarily have to run dark. I'll go ahead and use Ulfbert on this dude over here. then we should mostly just be set here. I think at this point we just wait for everybody to take their turns. Maybe I shouldn't have put that Griffin on AI because it's going around tearing everybody a new one right now. But let's go ahead and turn on Galaxy Stop. So it's going to go ahead and do one of those, and it's going to bind, shackle, and stop, nuke anything within 12 tiles. And then finally we have Grim Dawn, which is the other kind of big final boss move that they've got access to here, which is going to be one of these looking things. It is the longest frickin' animation you're going to see, and it's going to do the same thing except it's frightened. So between the two of them, you can I don't want to say easily because it's definitely not easy, but you can definitely clear maps after a few rounds. Pretty darn strong ability overall. Definitely not as hard hitters as some of the other ones, especially not the way that I have them set up right now. But either way, they're cool to have. That's what I really like about these abilities. They're very good in niche circumstances, but they're not exactly going to be the thing that you go and click on every time you want to win, you know? It just feels like there's always one more thing to consider about One Vision. It's never just one problem at a time, and I love that. It's a very nice headspace to be in. It's one of those things that makes this mod so dang fun to play through. Like, for example, most of the time, I'll actually end up using Casual over here as a fencer, because, just like her box art implies, she can use swords. So, it's just kind of cool to have her function as a sort of evil fencer of sorts. But anyways, that's about that. If there's anything else I missed, please let me know, and I'll do a follow-up thing. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the Miasma ability. I actually don't have that. I didn't have that to show in this guy in particular. But Death Knight does have a sort of improved poison AoE spell that drops in Palace, or not Palace, but in Pirate's Graveyard. I know that's level 15 as far as its requirement, so it's relatively low. But it is a pretty solid kind of poison spell there. But I don't have it on this save file just yet. So anyways, that's kind of about that. If I missed anything else, please do let me know. And yeah, more Know Your Unit 1 Vision as they come up. So y'all have yourselves a good one. Take care.